Micromolecules, amongst them there are certain unstable one too. They cannot be stable in a certain configuration under different reactions, and they immediately broken to release energy, and they are then thought to be the immediate source of energy wherever they required for cellular metabolism. Whenever they broken down, they release energy, and that energy is used in order to have a different sorts of functions and purposes in the cell. For example, ATP or nucleotide, it is the combination of sugar, nitrogenous base, and phosphate. It is a ready-made source of energy. It can be broken down into ADP while losing one phosphate. It is losing a phosphate over here to give ADP, that is adenosine triphosphate. Here it was tri with 3 phosphate. Here it is di with 2 phosphate. Then again 1 phosphate would be relieved. It would be mono. That means that would be 1 phosphate. So whenever it is releasing 1 phosphate, it is releasing energy whenever, and that energy is ready to use. This is the type of a nucleotide. And here is the structure of ATP that is given over here. It is very clear that here the adenine, a purine is there, that is a nitrogenous base. Why it is called purine? Because it is a double ring structure. It is the large one with double ring, and it is known as purine type of nitrogenous base. It is going to join with ribose, that is a sugar, the subunit of carbohydrate. It is using it. Both of them, they're joining together by making this bond, and then this sugar is ultimately bonding with phosphate. And that phosphate, when it is 1, it is adenosine monophosphate with 1 phosphate. And if the second one is added by a mild bond, then it would be known as adenosine diphosphate with 2 phosphates. And when the third one is being added, it would be regarded as adenosine triphosphate. It means this is the stable most. Adenosine triphosphate is most stable among them, but it is most stable amongst ADP and AMP. Itself it is unstable, and it can be broken down in order to release energy. It means whenever it would broken down, it would release energy in order to use in different purposes of cells and functionings of cells. After completing the importance of carbon, let us now discuss the importance of water. What actually water molecule having an importance during all the chemical reactions going on in the life, and why it is so stable and so protective in nature. First of all, we'll deal with the characteristic features which are showing the importance of water. It is actually a medium of life. Why it is a medium of life? Because all types of things, all types of processes, and all types of reactions, they need water to complete. It is the most abundant component in all organisms. Wherever we are walking, wherever we are going, we have water in a big concentration, even in the bodies of organisms. In case of human beings, 90% water is there in case of their body structure, and similarly other organisms, they have much more amount of water in order to maintain their structures and functions. So that's why they are most abundant throughout the organisms. There is 65 to 89% present in organism, that is, it ranges in different types of organisms regarding their habitats and their surroundings. So it ranges in 65 to 89%. In human tissues, they vary. In human tissues, the water range in different ratios. For example, in case of brain tissue, because of its delicacy, it is so delicate that is it really damageable wherever it is present. That's why it is so protective in cranium, the most strongest bond, and it is provided with 80% water in order to save it from shocks and from heat and from other things. So water is making 80% amongst the brain tissues. While in case of bone, it is present 20% because bone is a solid tissue in itself. Bone has a strength in itself. It is not that easy to rupture or that easy to destroy. That's why it is having 20% water in it. All the reactions that occur in water presence, all the reactions, because the Reactions, they are mediated or catalyzed by biocatalysts known as enzymes, and all the enzymes, they cannot work properly unless they are provided with aqueous medium, that is watery medium. That's why they participate in all chemical reactions. In other words, we can say water is facilitating the chemical reactions. Is present in micromolecule hydrolysis. That means hydrolysis is a word in which we can have a literal meaning, hydro for water and lysis for splitting. So hydrolysis is a process in which water is being added in order to split a big molecule into the smaller one. So macromolecules, they are being hydrolyzed by the presence of water. The enzymes, they work in aqueous medium. Here aqua, this aqueous comes from aqua, and aqua is equal to water. So all the enzymes that are proteinaceous in structure, they work only in aqueous medium, and they feel it comfortable to start with watery environment. And water is raw material for photosynthesis too. We have discussed in the previous slide that it requires water in order to combine with carbon dioxide. If it wants to convert itself into a glucose. So all these things, they are showing the importance of water, and that's why water is. Let us discuss the properties of water that make it so important regarding different purposes. Let us discuss first of all the solvent properties of water. It is a universal solvent. Water is known as the universal solvent because it can provide the solutions a very easy environment to dissolve in. So it is a universal solvent. Its polarity, that is the charge on its hydrogen and oxygen one, is that it is excellent, making it excellent solvent for polar substances, because whenever the polar substances, they are being dissolved in water, they would dissociate into their ions. And ionic substances, like they dissolve in water, they dissociate into positive and negative ions, just like NaCl. They would dissociate into Na plus and Cl minus ions whenever they are dissolved in water, and that's why they would be soluble in the water. But in case of non-ionic substances, if they are having a charged group in them, they are dispersed in water just because of the solvent property of water, because their groups are also being dissolved, and hydration is the process by which water molecules can occupy the whole substance from all sides, and then by strong bonding it can break down the bonding between those substances in order to dissociate them. When the things are in solution, the solution is made up of definitely a major amount of water too. Ions and molecules, they move randomly because they are dissociated. When they actually dissociate, they would start moving within the solution, and that movement would make a favorable state to react with other ions. It means in case of a solution form, when we are saying that it is very easy for reactions to carry on in an aqueous environment, this is the proof of that thing, that in that environment, the ions, they have major chances to collide with one another, and collision is the activation energy, that is an energy required to